All right, we are looking at a Dell B110. Again, this one has Celeron D at 2.53 megahertz, 1 gigabyte of RAM. We're using all legacy on board here to test the boot of this hard drive that's in here. I apologize, this is a different monitor than I've been using. It's also dirty. Another dumpster find, so bear with me. I will clean those up eventually. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Busy with the holidays and whatnot. But we can still test this for boot. Let's go ahead and hit the button. Well, I heard the fan kick on. We've got power. No beeps. I did not unseat the processor, so I don't think that's our issue. But for whatever reason, it's not firing up. So, a couple of possibilities here. We could have a bad power supply. This is fairly underpowered, so that wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Or we could have some other issue. So let's do a little troubleshooting and see if we can get this started. Alright, so possibility number one, bum power supply. So we've got a backup plugged in to the hard drive and the motherboard. Alright, and I don't know that the front switch panel is going to operate here or not. Everything is plugged in correctly. And now I'm wondering, is this a bum power supply? Because I've got a few spares laying around. Alright, let's do a little more troubleshooting. Okay, so we tried an alternate power supply, and for whatever reason that one wasn't working. So I swapped the CMOS battery because there's a chance that this old board won't boot without a good CMOS. So we're going to go ahead and try it again here. And interestingly enough, we got fan action in the power supply, and case fan, but nothing else is going on here. So again, we are met with a most unusual circumstance. Let's do a little more troubleshooting. Okay, so I got the original CMOS battery back in there and hooked up an ATX power supply. I know that does actually work. So we're going to go ahead and plug this one in and then see if we can get this system fired up. So we've got fan on there, case fan is on. Okay, I got it turned off completely this time. I saw the keyboard light up briefly. But again, we've got no beep codes, no other indication of faults. So that being the case, we're going to go ahead and swap the CMOS battery again and continue to look for what's going on. Okay, so what I did was I pulled the processor out and reseated it, and now it looks like it seems to be wanting to fire up here. Now I did swap the CMOS battery, so that's probably why it's wanting to go to setup. So I think rather than try and reset this back to where it was, let's go ahead and get in a setup and see if we can figure out if there are any other issues we should be aware of. And we've got XP booting. So far so good. All right, there we go. We have a booter, Windows XP. Again, this has a gig of DDR RAM. I think what we're going to do is take apart the old power supply and plug that back in, as well as reinstall the CMOS battery, just to see if the issue was the seating on the processor. I'm not sure how. I didn't pull the processor out before, but that appears to have been what caused our issues. So we'll try that and then see if this boots up again and see if we can get into this one. Alright, so we got everything hooked up with what was in the case at the time when I got it from the recycler, including CMOS battery, and it does boot, and it did get me into setup, so I'm going to go ahead and get this reconfigured. But you can see we've got our Intel Celeron, 2.53 gigahertz. So not a bad little processor, a little underpowered on the RAM. It's only 2 bays, so I don't know how much this motherboard would tolerate, but we've got a good booter, boots to XP. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and drop me a comment with any thoughts you may have. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Ursa Master. Thanks very much for your time. Have a great rest of your day.